look, here I have a International W30 Carby, and we have a bloke asked me would I have a look at it and do it up for him, and we found a kit in America for it, and we've been waiting to get the kit. And it's a Steiner kit. It's a IHS 754, and it's a basic Carby kit. This is all we can buy for this machine, so we'll just see what we've got and work with it. So look, to start with, I think we'll just do the basics and split it into sections. Looks like we have a lower section here where the choke is, which is the inlet. Then we have the bowl, and then we have the venturi and the butterfly shafts and all up there. So we'll just try and work away at it. Oh, that's tight. I suppose it's been together for a little while. So we'll just pop him apart and just see what we find, and if we can make it all new for him. I'll probably only get it apart this afternoon, then I might have a talk to him and just see what he's putting it on. Is it a tractor that's all done up? Would he like it bead blasted on the outside? Or some people with these old Carbies, I've had them ask me not to muck around with the outside, just do the inside, so that's okay too. And that's mainly just your choke assembly. That seems to be working very well. I can't see what the problem with this one would be. That looks okay. There's a little drain down the bottom which probably should have a gauze in it, I would say. But anyway, we'll park that up. And we'll move on to this next piece. Now, this is where the governor would come in, and that's your slow speed or your idle. It's not your idle mixture, it's just your idle speed. It decides how far the butterfly is open, so that's your speed. I might just put a couple of little marks here, just so we know which way it goes back together. The spring washer broke. Let's try and sneak in a bit closer here. By the time I have the microphone and I've got my leg in under the tripod here at the moment. Yeah, bloody bodgy old show, I tell you. These little tags, it's important if you're trying to order carburetor parts, have a look at those little tags. That gives you your number to work on, to see if the kit fits and things like that. That's a big float, isn't it? It's a big carburetor all around. Here's our venturi. What stops that from turning around? I presume these little gaps have got a reason to be there. I would presume. See a little gap in through here. So I suppose this gap here would line up with that. But I think it was just sitting like that. But it's all concentric. There's no difference apart from these. Some of the other carbies, they have a little nick out of them to, yeah, they have actual fuel bleed, air bleeds and that in them, but this one doesn't. It's actually pretty nice inside, pretty clean still. Put that over there out of the way. Okay, now this fella here, he looks like he goes straight in here for mixture. Then there's an idle mixture here. Anyway, we'll play with one housing at a time. That's a gland packing, it feels like. So that's a mixture screw or an air mixture screw. You can see the taper on the end of that screw there. That tells us that there should be a gland packing up inside there. And the gland packing will seal on the smooth part of that needle. Yep, I can feel that in there. This is often a main jet with a little lever here. I might be able to get this. No, that's round. I was thinking of putting a socket over, but I might be able to get a crow's foot over there shortly. We'll just have a quick look on what else we need. Oh, this is actually a Zenith carburetor. It has Zenith written down here, so yeah. We'll see what this little fella does. Right, that doesn't want to go. We won't force the issue just yet. This big nut here, it obviously holds this set of jets in. So we'll wait and get a socket to undo that, and we might wait and get a crow's foot for here, so we don't bugger it all up. And get that gasket out of the way. You can see the float level with the float sitting down on the needle there. That's pretty well straight across, which is worth taking note of. I wonder what thread that is. This might be a little metric carby. Zenith was a German company, and I know on the Fergies and that they've got a lot of metric parts on them. It's got a slight bend to it. I bet that's supposed to be straight. Yep, I can blow through that still. That thread has a funny feel to it. Thread looks good though. There's a big ring around the needle there. Probably the new one. I wouldn't mind betting it's Viton. No, it's the same. Yep, it's the same on this. Now right down in here, there's a jet down in there. I like to smack them a little bit with a screwdriver, and sometimes that jarring just releases it. Oh no, we'll have to go steady there. Right, to get this butterfly out, we undo these screws, but then looks like a couple of small pins here. A bit of wear there, isn't it? Screw doesn't feel real good. Yep, looks okay, but there's a new one of these fellas in the kit, I see. There's another little screw in here, so we'll see if we can. That's a very coarse thread. Okay, I'll sneak off. I don't know if I've got any pin punches that small. Anyway, if not, we'll make one. Have to have something there for that. Yeah, that came out good. See a little bit of wear on the side of the butterfly there. That's a thick butterfly. A little bit of a cutaway each end, but that's fine. Okay, I'll go and get some little pins. Okay, I've had to grind one of my little pin punches down, but that's what you've got tools for, to use them, haven't you? Might not be small enough. Some of these pins are tapered, so I'm just going careful, just trying to work out which way I should be going, really. Still just too tight, really. There's the other one. So we should be able to just give that butterfly shaft a little bit of a tap. Oh, that little fella. You can see the wear in the shaft there. There's a lot of wear there, a lot of wear down here. It does look like down in there there's a replaceable bush. Looks like a brass bush. So I've got brass on brass in there. There's nothing in this end. This part here supports that. So that actually turns with the butterfly. So there must be something inside there that opens up. Anyway, we'll have a look. I put a bit of oil on this fella before, so we'll see if we can work him back and forth a little. Spring seems in reasonable order. So that housing there is bare. I'll see what we need to do with that bush. I might try and get a measurement of that before we pull it apart at all. Oh, that's tight. Okay, that might do us. This bit here, there's no need to pull this apart, really. We can give that a good clean, as it is. That's got another little roll pin through there. Little solid pin. A roll pin this end, a solid one that end. And I presume this here would just be a little drain. We won't tempt fate with that. Alright, we've got it apart. Now, what I'd like to have a quick look at in the kit is we'll move things out of the way and give it a bit of a wipe just so we can, just a quick look to see what we have. We have the gaskets. We have the gasket for there, gasket for there, looks like a gasket for there, and a gasket for there. Yep, straight sides, curved sides, so it's sort of got to go there. Yep. Okay, so the gaskets are looking good. Put them aside. Now that's the gland packing for in here. That's the new needle and seat. So that's looking okay. The gland packing. We have another couple of packages. That's a new mixture screw. And an assortment of little pins and bits and pieces. So we'll put the pins in the little butterfly screws. The little roll pin. That's a new pin for the, oh, where are we, Lance? This one. For the butterfly, or for the float to pivot on by the looks. Now with the new butterfly, I'd just like to have a look now. This fella here has to come in. So it's still like a cock in a sock, isn't it? Alright, we'll have to see if we can get that wear out. There's got to be a little... Yeah, I can't see what's down in there, you know. But anyway, I might get a torch a bit later and have a look. But yeah, so that's still sloppy, even with the new butterfly, allowing for all the wear. It's still quite sloppy, so we're going to have to deal with that. Now, one thing I noticed is when we had this butterfly, look at all the holes in this end. So if we line them all up together, So where they have a brass shaft in a brass bush, they now put a steel shaft in a brass bush. Better idea. The bush is the wearing part though. That bit there, it must open a little port or something. I've got to work that out yet. I'll know by the time I come to putting it together. And this little bloke here, well, there's no hole for that on this one. So we'll have to work that out too. Okay, that's it for pulling it apart. Leave it with us. We might do a bit of research and we'll come back. Well, in our W30 carb, someone at some stage has bored the housing out and they've put this little brass bush in. And look, it's not a bad job. They've put a little shoulder to push it into, but to get it out, I actually had to come in with a tiny rotary burr on a pencil angle grinder, on a pencil grinder, and just relieve it enough so I could collapse it without going into the cast iron bore of the carby. So we have to make one of those up, and on one end, which was this end here, where your there's a screw comes in here for your slow speed adjustment, it sits way up the end here, so it actually has to sit way up on this 5/16 shaft. So what the plan is, it's to polish this to size, and I've already done that. Like, it was 7/16, I had a bit of 7/16 brass, so I've popped that in there, just tidied it up, and the size is pretty good, I believe. I could probably get the housing and just test it, but oh, I've got a phone binging in my pocket. But the idea is just to run I've already got a little bit of a centre in there, and in a collet chuck, I'll just keep this for the job, and we'll then run a drill up, and then we'll run a 5/16 ream up, and that should be the right size. We should be okay to back it out. So I'll take this collet off, and we'll pop the drill in. And we'll lock it off. Now, this here is 1/2 inch long, so we have room for the taper on the drill and the ream. We'll go in about 3/4. So look, I'm going to run that at around, what are we, B2. So yeah, look, around 380 RPM, that should be fine for a little bit of brass. So I'll just back him away and we'll see how we go. So that there should be plenty. We shouldn't have to worry about that at all. Now, we just have to run the ream up so that fits. So we'll put that in the drill, in the chuck, I'm sorry. And we'll bring him up snug. Now we'll go the slowest speed that my old machine here has, and C1, oh come on Birdie, C1 gives us 200 RPM. Now we need a heap of coolant on this, or lubricant I should say, instead of coolant. I've got my facts straight, this should go up in there. Oh, look at that. Make a spud gun out of that. Bugger the carbies. Let's go make spud guns. So look, that's lovely. That's holding the lubricant in there's holding a pressure seal. So look, that's great. You couldn't wish for more. Now I'll just pop a bit of brake cleaner up there. And we'll pop our little diamond tool out here. This little diamond tool, I like to use that for brass. It doesn't seem to make such a mess. I was watching A-Bomb one time, and he was saying about using HSS for brass, and you get less shit flying everywhere. And yeah, look, it's dead true. He knows what he's talking about, that bloke. Yeah. I think he must look at what I do sometimes, if he ever did, and think, fuck. Okay. Slight chamfer there, and we'll put a slight chamfer on the inner. Okay, we'll bring that up. Now that should still be square from when I've last. Doesn't hurt to check, does it? Lovely, tell your mum. Okay, we'll bring this back out. Now, a steel rule. We call them rulers here. You fellas call them scales. Scales in America. So we just bring that back until we can feel a touch. I'll see the air gap disappear, one or the other. There we go. So we know that's zero, we'll just zero the DRO. We need 1/2 inch. So we'll put it on miles an hour, not kilometres an hour. 0.38, 0.479, 0.5, 0600. Now, just as a quick test, just to make sure we're in the ballpark, that's a good thing. Okay, speed him up again. We'll go to C2, that's 1050. Sounds like a good speed, doesn't it? Oh, it's not even hot. Right, so that should be the bush. I need to get rid of that burr. And I might be able to just poke this through and push it off the end. Not quite that simple. So we need to take that off. Look, that's a lovely fit in there. Now we can push that into the housing in the carby, and we have the option then, if it shrinks just a tiny little bit, we have the option of running the ream through by hand just to make sure. But look, that's lovely. That'll do for that one.